In this video, we are going over how you can take emotions like sadness, grief, even things like depression, and transmutate them into more positive emotions that you want to be feeling more often. That's coming up next. Hi guys, my name is Dave and this is HeartSpace, where we are helping you expand your awareness, consciousness, and of course, your heart. So if that sounds good to you and you like daily videos on topics like that, hit that subscribe button and bell notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos that we release. I want to make a quick video on something right now because I think this can be very powerful for a lot of you. A lesson it took me a very long time to learn because it seems almost counterintuitive, but it's how I'm able to take emotions like sadness, take emotions like grief, like anger, and essentially change them into emotions of more happiness, joy, euphoria, things of that nature. And notice, not magic. This is not like some secret thing or something like that. It's actually very simple. See, the thing you have to understand about these emotions is we live in a world of duality, meaning you cannot have one without the other. You cannot have up except in relation to down, and you cannot have left except in relation to right, cold without hot. And that means you cannot have happiness without sadness. And then take any emotion you can think of, you cannot have that emotion or that feeling without the opposite of it. And so what I found when I've been going through long periods of sadness, I used to be very, very depressed when I was younger as well. What I found later is that when I resisted these emotions, when I did not allow myself to feel and I bottled them up and I did not allow them to be expressed outwardly or to feel them inwardly, they would persist. And there's a famous saying, a famous quote I really like that rolls off the tongue. It's what you resist persists. But what I also found is when I allowed emotions like sadness, when I allowed whatever was causing my depression to come to the surface and I actually shone a light on it, I didn't block it, I didn't resist it, I experienced that it would leave much more quickly, and there would be a completely different emotion on the other side. One example I can give you just really quickly is there was a time, not even that long ago, within the last year, where I was holding on to a lot of sadness, a lot of things from childhood, a lot of things that I had just been bottling up. I had no idea I was. And then I just had a moment with my girlfriend where I started crying. And I couldn't help it. I just kept crying and crying and crying, and it was one of those uncontrollable ones. And I'm not someone who usually cries. I'm someone who usually resists tears and resists crying. Not something I think is good. I think, again, that's repressing these emotions. But because I was resisting the sadness and some of this trauma and other things from those days, they don't go away. You don't just push them out of your body, they stay in your body, they stay in you, and they just push them further down, deep down within you. But they will keep surfacing. And for whatever reason this time, I was able to let go and all of it started releasing through my tears. Now the crazy thing is, after I cried it all out, after I released the sadness, but I actually allowed myself to feel it, I started laughing. And then I started laughing uncontrollably. And then this feeling of euphoria, absolute euphoria, this is still one of the best feelings I've ever felt in my life after crying. This feeling of euphoria, this release came over me, and I felt amazing. And what I didn't realize in the past was on the other side of that sadness was that euphoria. On the other side of it was happiness. On the other side of it was joy. On the other side of it was laughter, because ultimately they're one and the same. You can't have one without the other. And it's when you resist a certain emotion, that's when it stays, that's when it persists, that's when you trap it within you, you push it down. Everyone says, just push it down or ignore them. That doesn't make them go away. That's a temporary solution that's only going to guarantee that it's going to poke its head up again at you when you really don't want it to. And so the best way to take an emotion like sadness, like anger, or whatever, or maybe you're depressed and you have certain emotions associated with that and certain feelings coming up from that, the best way to move beyond that is to allow it, to release it. And you cannot release it unless you look at it. You can't allow it, or you can't release it unless you allow it. But I promise you, if you just allow yourself to feel, it will on its own time leave, and you will have the other emotion on the other side. And I've experienced this many times since, where I've been sad, I've allowed the sadness either through tears or expressing it to either my girlfriend or someone else, and then I feel great. And then I feel amazing, then the other side of that emotion. So just a little practice you can try. Don't resist these emotions. Don't resist the sadness. Don't resist whatever's coming up. because happiness, joy, euphoria is just on the other side of allowing yourself to feel the emotion. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this one. Let me know if you have any more questions about this process. There are many other resources out there and other ways you can look up this, but it's so simple. Just allow yourself to feel whatever you're truly feeling, and I promise you that it will leave much more quickly. But don't do it because you want it to leave. Just see it, allow it, and then just watch what happens. All right, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.